Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And I have an extraordinary guest. I know you're going to enjoy his heart, his spirit, his passion for all that he's brought forward and all that he's able to give back and lift up others with. So I know you're in for a great show today, and I'm excited to introduce him to you in a little bit. And I wanted to open up our conversation with really thinking about, have you ever thought of, wow, I would love to live an extraordinary life? Or you look outside yourself and you see people that you admire and have achieved these amazing things. And you're like, you're learning from them, you're leaning in, and you're like, wow, I wish I could step forward in that way as well. How can I have an extraordinary mindset? How can I keep going, be resilient, and step by step build a life that matters to me, that is bringing forward those things that I want to touch in the world, I want to bring forward in the world? And that's what I have seen our amazing guest do. He has a book coming out in a little bit. He's going to talk on that, about that a little bit as well, where he's willing to kind of pull back the curtain and share his journey and his life and all the steps that he took along the way so we can learn in those footprints. And he looks at this as he had a very ordinary beginning and kept going forward and was able to build a very extraordinary life. And we're hoping that as you lean into our conversation today, you'll start to see that's a step I can take too. That's a resource I can add to my library to quicken your spirit around, wow, maybe I could build and create, be part of, give back in an extraordinary way too. So let's come together. Take a deep breath in through your nose all the way to your toes. I even wiggle my toes, make sure I'm getting air down there. And I want us to focus in. So taking that breath to become present, centered, ready to lean and receive everything that is here for you today, because there is a reason you've tuned in. There's a reason you're here today. So being open to receiving what that is with excitement and anticipation. Wonderful. So as you're pausing, breathing, becoming centered, lowering any of those cortisol levels or any of that, we can rush around in our days so much. So remembering to slow down, pause and breathe. This is your time. Be ready to receive. Close your eyes. Absolutely safe. Another beautiful breath. Put both your hands on your heart. Notice your heart beat. And notice the pause in between the beats. In that quiet, still space, one pause at a time. What is your heart saying to you today? What is it that you need and are willing to receive? What are you being reminded of? Beautiful. And see how that word extraordinary is landing for you. Beautiful. Let's take a breath. Come back into the room, fully present, and take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. And then have those notes handy, that paper, your pen, to capture notes, ideas, things that are coming forward as you sink into our conversation today, into the show. And I was asking you as you were in that space to just see how the word extraordinary hits you, how it lands. I think so often we can see extraordinary in others. We don't always see it in ourselves. But here's what I know. You can't see it in others unless you also have it within yourself. Today, during our conversation, let's see how we can bring that forward as we lean in and learn from our extraordinary guest. John, welcome. Thrilled to have you joining us today.
Just looking forward to being with you and having this conversation.
Thank you. And I'm curious, just as we took a moment to stop, pause, kind of center in, connect in, was there anything that came up on your heart, bubbled up, maybe even around the word extraordinary, that you want to share with our listeners as we begin today?
Extraordinary only comes into place by accident, in my opinion. There's no way, at the way I came up through my life, that I would be in a position to be sharing this with you, to be writing my story. It was never the intent. I've lived my life, and I've learned from my life through many, many experiences.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to discuss some of those today and to see some of those footsteps that you took along the way to be able to bring the impact, the imprint, and kind of this amazing ripple that you've created out in the world. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing. Listeners, we are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do so, I invite you to stay present, really see what bubbles up in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that moment, that pause, the opportunity to really see what's bubbling up for you as you think about the word extraordinary and how that lands for you and what it brings up. I know for me, that's not a word I used a lot in my vocabulary, something I spent a lot of time thinking about. But when I say it, it feels good. And I lean in and wow, what if I could learn from people who've lived extraordinary lives and I could have an extraordinary life or impact as well? So I'm curious as we go through our time together, seeing how that impacts you. What are some of the mindset and perspectives that John's going to share with us that resonate and you may want to add to your toolbox or sit with and see, how can I perhaps bring that into what I'm doing? Is that another way I can look at this? And his book that we're going to be talking about and have him share a little bit about, as you lean in and resonate with John, it could be an amazing resource to have in your library, to have on your bookshelf, to be able to support you on your journey. So we're just thrilled to have him joining us. So let me give you a snapshot of John if you're meeting him for the first time today. So John Gullo was raised in Buffalo, New York, where his street smarts turned to business savvy as he worked his way up in the grocery industry. Then he entered the restaurant business and eventually became a Burger King franchisee. And he continued to grow and expand and has launched dozens of nonprofits, including his nonprofit, the American Dream Foundation. And he discovered the sport of pickleball, and that created some amazing shifts in his life as well. And he helped build courts and started professional pickleball and is now known as the father of pro pickleball. He is passionate about lifting others up, being authentic, and leaning into you. So please warmly welcome the powerful, the dynamic, and authentic John Gullo to the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Excited to have you here today. And I wanted to start with, if you want to just give us some of your early years, and because we have this sentence that says you were raised in Buffalo, New York, where your street smarts turned to business savvy. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
Well, I think one of the most important thing was I'm lucky to have come from the generation that we had nothing. If you ever have nothing, you appreciate everything that happens to you. The broken family, no father from the age of 7 to 15 when my mother remarried. 4 older sisters, actually one of my sisters was actually old enough to be my mother. And going through that process, wanting more, but appreciating everything that you have. That sounds kind of hard to describe, but that's the truth. I appreciated everything in my life. The want for more actually just came because it happened. It was never a desire. If you can understand what I'm trying to say, appreciation for life, appreciation for the people around you, and what you have in your life. That's what was my basic foundation.
Beautiful. Well, I love that. I think that's so important that we appreciate what we have, and it's okay to want more and build more. And I'm curious in that, what helped you consider you could have more?
Well, it all started in the beginning, because if you have nothing, you appreciate everything. And Christmas was very, very special, and we had no money, so I was driven at an early age to try and raise money in different ways, shapes, or form. One of them in the book is kind of humorous, the fact that I wanted to buy presents for my family. It wasn't receiving, it was giving that motivated me in my early stages.
I love that. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that? And I just wrote that down because I feel like that's something, as I've had the opportunity to read your book and start to know some of your life's journey. I feel like that's a consistent thing I have seen from beginning through today, this desire to give and give more, and that's such a driving force for you. So I think that's a powerful tool that you have in your toolbox and perspective. But I'd love for you to share a little bit about your first experience in stepping into business or entrepreneurship.
Well, we lived in Buffalo, and what tenement row housing is like. Their houses are kind of close together. I had 4 sisters, all a lot older. The closest one to me was 9 years older than me. And I used to, so it might sound funny, but I used to charge 5 or 10 cents for my friends in the house next to me to look through the window, watch my sisters making out. Believe it or not, that's the truth. They never caught me, but that was my first entrepreneurship. In other words, it was a race to make nickels and dimes to be able to go out and buy Christmas presents.
You were very entrepreneurial in finding ways to raise funds and bring forward with things that you had on hand. So that gives you just a little taste, audience, of some of his journey. And where was there a big turning point in your life on your journey?
I think the biggest turning point in my life is at the age of 21, I joined the Niagara Falls JCs. Until that time, I was pretty much an introvert, a follower. A friend asked me to join, and the motto of the JCs is leadership training through community service.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I was doing projects, and it wasn't John Gullo, it was John JC.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I got over my lack of self-confidence. And the first thing I got involved in was a project where we took physically and mentally challenged people to Niagara Falls Aquarium, and just got turned on with the service end of it. At that time in my life, you always wonder if you ever had a child with Down syndrome, how would you handle that? Well, I had a group of 8 Down syndrome that probably were 8th graders at the 3rd grade level, and among themselves they were normal. Had a major impact on me. Appreciating people who are they are. The JC Creed became the foundation of my life. We believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, that economic justice can be best won by free men through free enterprise, that government should be of laws rather than men, and earth's great treasures lies in the human personality. That's the key to my life, to be able to look at every individual, whether they're the type of people you would enjoy socializing with, but realize what they bring to the table, with the qualities they have, and be able to work with those people. And that's what helped my business career. There was the basics of human relations without a college education.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I know in your story, where I see that touch point again and again and how deeply it impacted you. The other thing I noticed is, and I'm just kind of smiling, I felt like as I read your book that you never just did things small or halfway. You were always all in and made things bigger and invited others along. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Well, I think the best example, you'll see the quote, when I worked for Burger King, I promoted a young man to become restaurant manager. He was really good. And as I grew in the system, became franchise district manager, I would send franchisees to him to see how to run a restaurant. I ended up becoming a franchisee. He ended up becoming the vice president of Burger King operations. Later on, with a presidential change, he was terminated. And became president and CEO of Wendy's. He was interviewed by Bridget, my co-author. He said, you have to understand, John, when he was there, he was older and he mentored us. Here I am years later working for Dave Thomas, the guy that formed Wendy's. And I go to him with a problem and I ask him for advice. And he gave me the same advice John gave me when I was a young man. Just do it right.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm curious, as you have had ups and downs, and what has helped you continue to move forward, continue to lean in, to find another way, to find ways to continue to give more and give back? What keeps you going? What encourages you to do that, to keep doing that?
A belief in God and the power of prayer. Knowing that he's not going to ever give us anything we can't handle, and realizing that faith is the most important thing in life. And I have a tremendous amount of faith in the Lord, and what denomination you are does not make a difference to me. It's how you treat me, and that's how I treat people. And that's the judgment part of life. And my father, Red, that came into my life at 15, that's what he taught me. He taught me to be honest, be true, and to take people as they are and accept as they are. You don't have to agree with them, but trust them, trust in the fact that they care.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Oh, I'm curious. Why did you decide to write a book? It was important to bring that forward, to share your
Well,
story.
over the years, because of my life experiences that I would share, if I have a strength or a weakness, whatever you want to call it, is I do share everything in my life and situations. And when I would tell the story, people would say, you really need to write a book. You need to tell the story. I think my situation when I was in Puerto Rico, I had congested heart failure and how that happened. People told me, you should tell that book. So it was always there. And then one day I was at a concert of a really good friend, Tara Taylor, in Las Vegas, and one of the people there was a publisher, and we shared some comments. And I said, I gave a speech to the IRS. Let me send that to you. And I did. And I'm in that speech. I kind of had my life story, and it was all about service. And she said, you should write the book. And that's how it all started. Unfortunately, as we started the book, we ran into COVID, and that kind of we kind of lost a couple of years, like a lot of people did. And then I was introduced and met Bridget, who my co-author, and we finished the book. But that it was just people telling me all the time what an interesting life you've had, and you should share that with you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like we take comments like that lightly and we don't always follow through. And I love that you have and that you're willing to share your life in this way and trust people with it, and give them the experience of walking beside you step by step in your life. Another thing I know that has impacted you in many, many ways is pickleball. And I'd love for you to explain, what is pickleball for people who are not familiar with it? And do you want to share a little bit of how it's become a sport that you're so passionate about?
Well, pickleball is the fastest growing sport, not just in the United States, in the world. As people know it today, it really didn't start till 2006, even though it was along 1960 when it was created. I was in Puerto Rico, and I had congested heart failure while snorkeling. Flew back to the United States, ended up with 5 bypasses. Weighed over 300 pounds at the time. Coming out of cardiac rehab, working in the gym, treadmills, all that stuff's boring and horrible. And I saw the sign pickleball, and I went out and played it. It's really maybe 15% tennis. The base is table tennis. But you're bending, you're stretching, you're moving, you're doing things. But the most important thing is for people that are older, all of a sudden, those of us that weren't athletes get to compete. And competition is critical in my life. So I ended up starting the sport. I ended up building the first 4 courts in northern Utah. There's over 400 now. But because of that sport, I joke about it because I say I lost six bowling balls. That's over 100 pounds playing pickleball.
Wow.
And it was fun. It wasn't boring. It wasn't a treadmill. It wasn't all that other stuff. It was fun.
I love that. Thank you for sharing and what an impact that has had, and that you've been able to bring that forward to a professional level and continue to spread the word and share about it. So it's just beautiful. Now, do you mind sharing the full title of your book and when it's coming out?
The Extraordinary Adventures of an Ordinary Man, and it's going to be released on the 12th of May at a discounted price as a download for the first 2 days of the week. So even though you'll be able to get a copy and get it signed, eventually those 2 days it'll be available for download for roughly, I think, around $2. And it'll be the 12th and the 13th, and it'll be on Amazon and also on my webpage.
Perfect. Thank you. So for our listeners, I know we love to let you know when special books are coming out, so you can mark them on your calendar. So please put May 12th on the calendar, and you'll have that special rate of $1.99, so just under $2, that it'll be available in the digital version, the Kindle version, and we'll be helping share that out. Towards the end of the show, I'll have John share his contact information, including his website, where you're able to get on his list, so you can actually be sent the special link to get that discounted rate on the day of launch. So just things to be aware of and writing on your calendar. We're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, I just want you to think about what John has shared, see what it's sparking within you, and maybe, take a look at pickleball if that's something that is new to you. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click Register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to just pause and really see what's bubbling up with all that John is sharing and his passion for pickleball and how it's just growing and expanding around the world. I started hearing about it, I'd say 5 years ago, and I've heard more and more and more. I can see it spreading and impacting so many people that I know. So that wonderful sport to look into and check out. And John, I wanted to circle back in on your book for a moment, because I know we're getting close to its launch and release. This is a busy time as all those final pieces come together. And as those final pieces come together, and I know there's some photos and there's your story, is there something in your book that you are just, you can't wait for people to read? And what are you hoping people learn and gain from reading your book?
Well, in the book, after each chapter, I do life lessons. Mm-hmm. But there's one chapter that I really want people to focus in on. The forward in my book is by a guy by the name of Thurl Bailey, former NBA player. Our lives parallel each other. My first wife was Polish. My in-laws hated me. His wife was white. His in-laws hated him. We both came out of poverty. And we've been together for 20 years now doing charity stuff. And there's one chapter in there, it talks about our relationship. And if nothing else, what the world needs more today is our type of relationship. Mm-hmm. People that come from different areas, but all the same things, the same goals. As you get into the chapter, it talks about that, but then Thurl shares his childhood, then I share my childhood, teens, back and forth, and how two diverse people from two different areas, one white, one black, end up being great friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's what I want to bring to the table. And the most important thing that is in the book is I emphasize the fact, especially with my grandkids, in life you learn what not to do, more what not to do than when you learn what to do. We learn from those bad mistakes. We profit from those bad mistakes. And it's what you do with those mistakes afterwards that's important. And that's really what's happened to my life. I barely got out of high school. I had teachers that used to give me library passes to get me out of required subjects. I wasn't a book learner. I've learned on the street, but I respond well to motivational speakers, and that those have been very impactful in my life.
Mm. Do you mind sharing how you and Thurl first met? I feel like it's a beautiful story.
Well, I was involved with Richard Paul Evans, who does Christmas Box House, which deals with abused children. And I was at a fundraiser, and there was an auction item for a day with Thurl Bailey to teach 10 or 15 kids how to play basketball. And I bought it. The surprise was I worked with an inner city youth program in Ogden called Youth Impact, and I brought Thurl up for that, and the 15 kids ended up being 150. And watching how he related his story afterwards, having fun with the kids playing pickleball, but how he shared his story. Here you got a 6'11" guy who never really played basketball to his senior year, but he loved singing, he loved performing, all the Opie stuff. And if he wasn't the athlete, and how he shared with these kids, the most important thing is to reach out and be somebody's friend. His talk that day was phenomenal. And he's after his basketball career now, he's a great singer, but he's also a public speaker. And that was really instrumental in me forming my foundation. The Youth Impact was the first thing I was involved with. And Thurl was right there. And we have been such close friends. But we may only talk maybe once or twice a month, but we're always there for each other.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that friendship, that just deep love and trust and respect and joy of each other comes through in that chapter with his interview segments. But I love how he expected the 10 to 15 kids and you had bigger plans and he embraced it. And I loved how that unfolded. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And I know you've also gotten some early readers that have read your book, advanced copies, and you've already gotten some responses. And I just wanted to see if you are open to sharing a little bit of that.
Well, there's two. Pat and his son, a really close friend of mine. We met maybe 10 years ago at a pickleball function. And she just read the book and she said, I thought I knew you. I can't believe how much I didn't know about you and what you've done in your life and what you've accomplished in your life. And here I've known you for 10 years and listening and reading, everything that's there. I'm just absolutely amazed. The other comment is Mark Stenbrenner, a really good friend of mine, one of the first freestyle skiers in the United States before it was in the Olympics. As he read it, he says, John, one of the problems today is the kids just don't know today what we went through with our generation. I really believe the more kids that read this book and how you've highlighted life lessons in this thing, it's going to have an impact on their lives, that they're going to see the most important things in life. And when in church, my favorite song is Because I've Been Given Much, I Too Much Give. Mm-hmm. And that should be everybody's motto, sharing.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm reflecting on that last response about how if young people could read your book and your journey, because you're very candid and real. You show mistakes, you show lessons learned in there. You show like hard learned lessons that you went through and impact and choices and continuing to step forward. So I agree with that advanced reader, just that opportunity to read and see what you have come through and the choices. And I love your perspective that, we learn a lot of what not to do. And that can be some of the most powerful lessons, because I feel like in your book, you share some of the things that were done, but you also shared how you earned trust back or tried to make it right, and where it mattered to you to earn respect back. Do you want to share anything around that?
Well, respect means everything to me. I say it a lot. You can love somebody, but not necessarily respect them. You might love family, but not respect them. Mm-hmm. Respect is earned. I'm a tremendous believer in teaching somebody how to fish, not giving them fish to eat. And when I do my entrepreneurial, my charity stuff, I get a lot of things going, organizations going, but I don't necessarily sustain them. I'm always looking for somebody new, and I really respond to people, in particular, a neighbor here, Betsy Fox. She's doing an arts program down here, and I listened to her, and I was moved by her, not the project.
Mm.
Last of the dying breed. Volunteerism seems to have fallen away as we become more organizational and more systemic. Individuals stepping forward and doing things on their own. That turns me on. And when I find somebody like that, I go all out. I just did a project this past weekend with a girl that wants to develop a sports complex here. And she put on an event for the first time, never done before. And I funded it. And everybody's raved about how successful it was coming right out of the box.
Wow. I love that. I love that you're on the lookout to help get people started or take that next step in the nonprofit realm or bringing things forward. Because I know you have so much experience in that in business and in the nonprofit space. Do you mind sharing a little bit of some of what you've done in the nonprofit space and any tips you have around there because you've talked about volunteering, giving back, anything you want to add to that as you share a little bit more about your nonprofit work and philosophy?
Well, the biggest thing was the first thing was in Ogden, they never had a 4th of July celebration. And my son is really big into demolition derbies, and they draw 4,000 or 5,000 people. We came up with having a 4th of July event. And it ended up being the largest charity fundraiser in the Ogden city area. We did it for 14 years. We called it an event of the people, by the people, for the people. What I did was I had charities do all the volunteer work, and I would reimburse them $10 an hour for every volunteer hour. I had the last year 750 people give up their holiday to work on a cause that they believed in. It was absolutely amazing how it evolved, and 18,000 people ended up coming off of a dream that we had to begin with. When I was asked the first year what was my biggest fear, I says either nobody shows up or too many people show up. And we didn't know what we were doing. We just did it, and it evolved. We ended up fencing in the park next to us and put a family plaza built around this whole thing. Then we ended up doing concerts. But all the money went to charity. In the 14 years, we raised over $750,000 for charity. But again, it was put on by people that cared about their program and prevent child abuse youth to handle and selling the tickets. It was absolutely amazing, and it was just unbelievable. And the other fun part I had, because I like creating, is the end of the thing was fireworks, right? And everybody wants to see the end of the fireworks. Well, I did a 20-minute show, but I ended the fireworks at 12 minutes. Then everybody thought it was over. Then we brought the music back on, and we ended it again 8 minutes later.
A flair for the dramatic.
Right. I love throwing parties.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful. Well, and I love that you were able to, on a 4th of July weekend, provide, fireworks and an amazing event for the community, but how involved the community got and able to raise funds for their causes. Just a really powerful, beautiful legacy that you've created there and doing that for 14 years. Congratulations. And I know it had such an impact. And I love that you bring in your dramatic flair as well. Wonderful. Well, as we kind of reflect back on our conversation, I know one of the things you mentioned to me behind the scenes, you were talking about the nonprofits and some of your belief around that and how you look at bringing nonprofits forward. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Well, the first thing the American Dream Foundation did was we produced patriotic videos, but as a businessman, I'm wearing both hats. I was asked for money, and then I was asking for money. So what we started doing was producing 3-minute videos of nonprofits to help them raise money. And like I used to say, you give a businessman a packet of literature, he's not going to read it. I wouldn't read it. But if I pop into the CD into the computer and they can listen to the story of what the charity is doing. So we produced about 10, 11 videos for nonprofits to raise money. We've done quite a few patriotic videos. The one that I was most impressed with, I heard about a cruise ship leaving Hawaii for the World War II vets, and I sent my videographer on the boat. Guys that fought at Iwo Jima telling their stories. A lot of the black and white pictures were them when they looked like Jerome Power, and now they're 89 years old and pot-bellied. And when I got back, the Ogden Standard Examiner interviewed me and said, "Why did I pay to have that video done?" And I think the comment was simply this: I think it's important that kids know today the price that was paid to give them the right to burn the flag. And the patriotism is the driving force. I mean, I've lived the American dream. There's no way, with the way I was born, how I grew up, my educational background, I should be where I'm at today. And the reason I'm where I'm at today is because of this country, and it's a great country.
Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. As we do so, listeners, I encourage you just to really sit back, sink into what John has shared, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that pause, that moment to just really sink into what has been shared with us and see what's touching your heart and spirit. And we're so excited for the release of John's book coming up. It'll be on May 12th, just to make sure everybody has that on their calendar, that you're able to lean in and add that to your library. And we appreciate you helping us share it out as well. We love to have books that can really walk beside people and support them on their journey. And we feel like John's book is that. And we'd love your support in helping us share it out as well on launch day. And John and I were just talking behind the scenes a bit, and I wanted him to share just a little bit about the pictures, because he's selected pictures that are included in the book that you'll be able to see some visuals of some of the things that she shares and talks about. So with that, John, anything you want to share about the pictures? Photos?
I think there's one in there with me as a meat cutter. And that was a pretty good life experience for me, because the manager was a really close guy, and we're really close, but sometimes we'd be talking and he would walk away. And I was wondering what the heck's up. And later on, I confronted him and I said, well, what's up? And he says, you have to understand, people watch what's going on. If I spend too much time with you, then you're going to think I'm your favorite. Uh, that was a human relations lesson for me, and that picture shows that Burt Moore at that time, very very influential in how to deal with people and how to handle people. Um, a lot of the other pictures were just periods of my life. A lot of it's with pickleball. I'm alive today because of the sport. I mean, I had five bypasses. I mean, there was no way. And here that we're talking, I'm in my 83rd year, but I'll share the humor. I was born on February 29th, so I tell everybody I've only had 20 birthdays, so I have a 20-year-old mind and an 83-year-old body, and it doesn't always work that way. But the pictures are there to show you those different parts of life, and a lot of it is you're going to see, the background, how I grew up. I joke with Thurl because he was 20 years younger than me, and he grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the slums. Ghetto's kind of a cool word. Slums really sounded horrible. But the pictures depict those different parts of my life, and I think it'll make people relate to the comments. Well, one thing I'd like to tell you is that during COVID, I met with my grandkids, and I said, what did you learn in this last 2 years? And it was simply this. There was the difference between wants and needs. If you couldn't go to the show, do you really need to go to the show? Families don't eat together anymore. People, that was what we learned out of COVID, how to make your life simpler and more meaningful, and do more things as a family than stuff. Stuff you can't take. Family life you can.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And one last visual I wanted to give our viewers and listeners is about your cover. So on launch day, May 12th, what does your cover look like that they can be leaning into?
It's an American theme. It's red, white, and blue. My life is red, white, and blue. If anybody wants to know more about the book, they can go to johnagullo.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm very humble. The proceeds from this book will all go towards charity. That's that. I never got in business to make money. I loved working with kids, and I loved developing it. But the gratification of seeing kids develop. I promoted more people into management when I worked for Burger King than most people did. And I would always say, you show me that wise, cocky kid, and I'll show you a leader. It's up to me to harness that leadership and put it in the right direction. And I was lucky that Red came into my life at 15 and turned me around and taught me about honesty and integrity and being true to yourself. And that's the most important thing in life. George Benson wrote the song Whitney Houston made a ton of money off it, called The Greatest Love of All. You got to learn to love and respect yourself. Don't look for another hero.
Thank you, John. I so appreciate you spending time today with us, sharing from your heart, your spirit, your life story. So many pearls of wisdoms and perspectives for us to lean into. And listeners, I hope you're really seeing some of the mindset that we can bring forward, that we can consider needs and wants and choices and giving back. So as we bring our time to a close, you have John's contact information. On his website, you also can sign up to be on his list so you can be notified on the day of launch if you're concerned about missing the day, and they'll email you the link where you'll be able to take advantage of that special rate. And as our time together comes to a close, I want to encourage you to just pause for a moment. We've had nice pauses throughout our time together today. It's an opportunity to process and to integrate. And from that place, as a result of hearing what John has to say and has shared and has touched in your heart and spirit, as a result of that, what are you going to do? How are you going to choose to step forward today? Not someday, not on a list somewhere. What's an action you're going to take today to move forward, be who you are truly called to be, share those things that truly matter most to you? What is a way you can give back? you can be seen a little bit more, that you can spend time with your family, that you can show that appreciation. What are some things that you can do starting right now to do a little bit more of that? The biggest gift you can give the world is really sharing the gift of who you are and applying that, bringing that forward in a way to lift others up too. So as you go forward, I hope that you choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.